and welcome to our final episode of From the Helm here at the Resources Rising Stars Conference in Sydney. I'm Grady Wolf, Market Analyst with Bell Direct, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Strickland Metals Managing Director Paul Lepenier. Paul, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Grady.
Exciting times. The company has mineral exploration assets in Serbia and Western Australia. Tell us about the difference in mining between those two jurisdictions.
Well, obviously WA is a mining heartland of Australia, so it's a much bigger industry in WA, but Serbia has a number of massive world-class deposits. So it's actually in its own right got its own long history of mining in Serbia. And in fact, most people wouldn't realise, but Serbia is actually Europe's second largest copper producer. So it does have a big mining industry, and it's looking to grow that as well.
Now, you did acquire the Rogozna project in obviously in Serbia last year. What attracted you to that project, and what's the outlook for it moving forward?
So I've actually been with that project for 5 years.
Wow.
So
what
attracted me in 2019 to that project was I took one look in the data room. It was owned by Eldorado Gold at the time. They were looking to sell, not because of anything to do with the project, but more so they had a few corporate challenges going on, and their management just said, we've got no budget for exploration, sell all non-core assets. So I took one look at the data, and when you open up the database and you're seeing hundreds of metres of mineralisation in the data, as a geologist, that's very rare.
Exciting.
And certainly I hadn't worked on a project like that in my life. And I'd been looking for a project like this for about 6 years.
Wow.
So I looked all over the world for 6 years. I looked at well over 100 projects.
Yeah.
And then I came across this one and I knew this is the
gold.
one. This is a company maker.
Yeah.
So that's what attracted me, and I can be fairly certain that when the Strickland team came and looked at this asset, they saw exactly the same potential.
Yeah, okay. It was exciting. It's good that you've been there for 5 years to know the lay of the land, exactly what you're looking for. And mineralisation is what investors want to hear and see. So tell us about the current resource base at Rogozna Gold.
Yeah, so the current resource base is about 5.4 million ounce gold equivalent. We're reporting gold equivalent because gold is the dominant metal. It's about 60 to 70% by value. Yeah. The other 20% is copper, and there's about 10% zinc. So that sits on 2 deposits. We've actually got 4 deposits. We're just drilling out the other 2 at the moment, Medenovac and Gradina. And the goal is to basically put those into maiden resources next year.
Yeah, so you had a busy 6 months since acquiring this asset. Tell us about what's been happening and what you've been working towards and what news flow you've seen.
Yeah, so it has been a crazy month, 6 months. So we've had 4 rigs drilling around the clock. We've drilled about 18,000 metres in the last 4 to 5 months.
18,000 metres, that's nuts.
Our goals for the season were pretty simple. For the main deposit, Shanac, we wanted to drill out the high-grade core. And we've been very successful with that, including we've intercepted the highest gold grades ever at the project. We hit 90 metres at 4 grams gold.
4 grams,
wow. Continuous mineralisation.
Wow.
And then there's another mineralised zone of over 100 metres thickness sitting beneath that.
Yep.
So that was Shanac. At Medenovac, we were just infilling that one to try and get enough drill holes into it for a maiden resource, which we've finished now. That should come out in about February, March.
Yep.
We're currently drilling at Gradina. The goal for Gradina was also extra drilling to get that into a resource, but we're also drilling that one to try and get it to come closer to surface, which will really improve the mine economics, or potential mine economics of that deposit. And then we've had 1 rig just drilling round the clock. We've got a whole swag of exploration targets, over 20 targets. So we've had 1 exploration rig just jumping from target to target.
Wow.
And that's been successful as well. So we released a few weeks ago our first discovery under the Strickland banner at Kotlovi, which is only 300 metres from Medenovac. So hugely successful.
Busy.
Probably more successful than I could have even hoped.
Amazing. So when do you expect to upgrade the resources at Rogozna?
So first one, Medenovac, will come out hopefully in February next year, a maiden inferred resource for that one. And Shanac, we should be putting out hopefully in March. Then Gradina should come out in probably August, September.
Yeah, so talking about the whole mining, we touched on it earlier, but mining in Serbia, what's the cost like? What's ESG like? Are the considerations different to obviously Australia?
Yeah, a little bit different. Well, certainly, let's start with costs. Costs are a lot lower.
Yeah.
So it's Eastern Europe, so relatively low cost base. Labour's relatively low cost, but importantly, you've got all the skills there. So really well educated team. Drilling $110 a metre all in.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's about 60% of what you pay
Yeah.
in WA. From an operational perspective, much easier to operate. We can move much more quickly. You don't have some of the cumbersome approvals processes that we have in our industry here.
Yeah.
And then as we get towards mining, yes, there's definitely a much higher or a very strong ESG component. You know, we have to make sure that we have good local support for this project. Importantly, where we are, there is an operating mine just 4 kilometres away.
Yeah.
We are in a historical mining district, and the local region, is an industrial region. But notwithstanding that, environmental considerations need to be top shelf. It's not like you're building a mine in the desert.
Yeah.
We are looking to build a mine in the mountains. There's a town 10, 15 kilometres away. So we need to make sure the standards that we bring to bear here are world class.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously this is in a really attractive part of the world. Does this attract the interest of majors and different players from obviously mining, gold miners?
So in Serbia, because of the geology plus the other attractive things about operating in Serbia, which I touched on, the low cost, all the majors are there. So you've got Rio, BHP, Vale, Zijin have invested about $5 billion. Newmont have been sniffing around.
Yeah.
Dundee are there. Kinross have been there.
Wow.
First Quantum have been there.
Yep.
So there is a lot of attention in this area because of the geology.
Yeah.
And we've had 3 of the top 5 gold mining companies already come to site.
Wow.
So it is the sort of project that does attract the majors.
So everyone's on your radar at the moment.
we are
Well, you're on
on
everyone's radar at the moment. Now, you've got another asset in WA, the Yandal Gold Project. You transacted some of these assets from Northern Star last year. What was the attraction to these assets, and why is it important to have different assets in your portfolio diversification?
Yeah, so certainly, the transaction with Northern Star last year, that was about 60 million into Strickland's coffers for about 350,000 ounces. So about $175 an ounce. That really just showed the market that these ounces next to a hungry mill are highly valuable.
Yeah.
Northern Star's Jundee mine, they've pumped out over $2 billion in free cash flow over the last roughly decade.
Wow.
But it's an old mine.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any oxide left. So they're mining 3 million tonne from underground. If they can substitute some of that with some low-cost oxide, that's really attractive to them. Their all-in sustaining costs are about $2,000 an ounce.
Yeah.
Any ounces that they can acquire from us is worth $2,000 an ounce to them.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a very symbiotic relationship there. And so our strategy with Yandal is now, this year we've drilled another 20,000 metres.
Yeah.
We're looking to try and get visibility, towards 500,000 ounces in terms of resources.
Yeah.
We hope that there's potentially another transaction with Northern Star down the track.
So they're liking what they see there. And lastly, tell us about what 2025 has in store for Strickland Metals.
2025 will be probably the most productive year of Strickland ever.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 resource updates to come out of Rogozna. We'll do a resource update out of Western Australia as well.
Yeah.
And by the end of next year, we'll be putting out our maiden mining study for Rogozna as well. All of that with about minimum 60,000 metres of drilling. So I think we are the most active junior on the market at the moment. We're the most active junior in Europe. And we're putting out results every 2 or 3 weeks, great results every 2 or 3 weeks.
It's a great time to be in gold. Thank you so much, Paul Lepenia, for your time today. Strickland Metals is on the radar of a lot of investors at the moment, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of From the Helm. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the Bell Direct YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our insights, commentary, and obviously exclusive interviews with CEOs and managing directors.